Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 28 of the Great Cleanup. These are coming thick and fast. Now what we're going to do in this video is we're going to walk from the back gate right through the yard, through the old shop, and I'll point out all the scariest bits to go. There's not too many of them. I actually think I'm getting somewhere. And I really do appreciate everyone's support and comments. The comments are great to read. I read them all. I try to reply to everyone. There's some really good observations, and it's just nice to see everyone enjoying the journey with me. Okay, let's go down to the back gate and we'll walk along, and I'll just pinpoint. Most of the stuff's done down the back lane here, but we'll just point out and I'll take you and show you all the biggest, most complicated areas that I have to do. And just while we're walking right to the gate, I should point out that at the time of filming, and this is Saturday, and I will be putting this video up tomorrow because it's just going to be one walkthrough and a bit of a chat. There won't be much editing. Currently there are 36 days to go. Now let's complicate things a little bit by saying that next weekend Christine and I will be away for 3 days. So essentially there's 33 days to go of hopefully good productive work. And next weekend we have the Victorian Country Table Tennis Championships. It's a big annual event. They haven't held it the last couple of years because of COVID. It's an important tournament for us to go to, and even though one might say with all the pressure I'm under you should not go off and play sport for 3 days, it's important to us, and I think it will be a good mental break and we'll come back refreshed. Maybe not physically refreshed because we're not going to get much rest there, but mentally, and I think that's more important. Anyway, I have got some footage too of table tennis which Christine took at a recent tournament, and I will put that up probably as a separate video just to show you what we like to do. So Leo, let's do the walkthrough and we'll point out the scary bits. Starting right at the back gate, and there's nothing very scary here. I'm very happy actually with the back lane. It's all organised. The pressing steel, if I was panicking, I could ring a guy and the whole lot could be gone within a day. So I still hold out hopes to take some loads of that to Melbourne. This side is mostly just empty drums, and I have advertised them on Facebook at $5 each. I believe someone's coming to get a couple. A lot of them are rusted out at the bottom. They all have holes for drainage, but they'd make good tree guards on a farm, or cut them in half for fire pits, or even a compost bin or a worm farm. They'll rust away, but you could certainly use them for that. So no panic down the lane here. We've loaded all the electric motors for our trip to the scrapyard, and incidentally you'll see this video Sunday. Monday morning we're going to take off to the scrapyard a day earlier this week because the van's already loaded. These are all transformers and compressors from a fridge. They'll be going in the next load. I've started pruning back the tree and we'll get into the shipping container, and the shipping container is one of the scary spots, even though we should be able to empty it pretty quickly because I'm basically going to move it all to my shed extension at home, which hopefully is complete fairly soon. The guy is actually starting that first thing in the morning. Monday morning. But still, there's a lot of stuff in there. So that represents one scary spot. Down the side here, I had forgotten, underneath all this mulch from the tree, there's a couple of tyres, but there are some old engine blocks I'd forgotten. There's some car engines down there. So it looks like we'll have to do some more heavy steel to Melbourne at some stage. There's also some lengths, and mostly buried, of PVC pipe. I'll probably drag all that out and probably give it away. So not so scary down there, although perhaps all the creatures that live down there might be scary. So that's the first one, the container. Now this yard, as messy as it looks, I'm not overly worried about this yard. There are lawnmowers, there's washing machines, there's lots of lengths of pipe. And it looks terribly junky, but I think I would actually power through that pretty quickly. A lot of the pipe I'll either give away or just sell in one big lot on Facebook. There's some more firewood. So I reckon a decent, nice day, decent weather and a good go at it, I would nearly clean that whole lot up in one go. So not terribly worried about that. I don't consider that so scary. I've started stacking up a little bit more firewood here, but this part is totally under control. I'm very happy with this spot. I'm going to take that little saw bench home. So, and there's just a couple. That washing machine frame is just the casing. Same with the others, and they're just full of bits of firewood. So, not much of a problem in this area. I have been burning a little bit of just dead branches and rotten timber that's no good for firewood. Up the top here, not so scary either. They're just washing machine cases, and a lot of those have aluminium stacked in it, so just a matter of digging them out from underneath that Madeira vine, but not too bad there. And likewise down the rest of the side of this yard, it's a pretty easy clean. There's a lot of value. There's some radiators, there's some stainless steel, there's some dirty aluminium. Pretty quickly to clean that up. And whoops, I nearly stepped in a puddle. It's still a bit muddy here. There's some steel that I'm going to put down the side lane. That'll sell. I don't want to scrap that. And there's some 44-gallon drums, so that's pretty good. Now over this side, this is probably number 2 scary. This lean-to I actually built just out of scraps. At one stage I had a little laser and I had to put a set of rings in it, so I had to make a bit of a shelter to nose the car in. And it's since filled up with all sorts of stuff. There is, I don't know what's down the back. There's stuff under tarps. I think that looks like there's a clothes dryer behind there. I only put this big cabinet here one day because it had beautiful old pine timber in it. I'm not sure if I'll probably try and save the timber. But there's a bit of work to do to clean this shed out. So that's scary number 2. Now this was the kind of workshop area I had. I've been working in here a bit and it's thinned out quite a lot. I'm taking those drawers home. That bottom cupboard's no good at all, really. I've already sold that steel cabinet, and that one in the corner can go into the shop soon because I'm making a bit more room for shelving in there, and I'll possibly give that away. Workbenches are pretty easy to get rid of. People like old workbenches. There's a bit of shelving. There's a nice cupboard over there, which, look, even if I put it out for free, it'll be snapped up. There's some shelving. Well, it's actually flooring board there, which I salvaged from a place that was being demolished one time. There's a lot of it. I was going to actually use it in a floor in a shed, but I'll probably just give that away. And a little bit scary, probably half scary, is this side of this shed. I haven't really got into cleaning at this side. The blue drawers are pretty cool. I'll probably take them home. And the big cabinet thing they're sitting on is extremely heavy. I'll probably just give that away. So it's just a matter of packing the smalls up in here. I kind of don't want to just throw them all into boxes and sort them out later because it's just more stuff to store. So I'm kind of sorting as I go. I don't feel that I'm under enormous pressure yet, so I'm taking a bit of time, pulling out heavy scrap, stuff to go in the shred, a bit of rubbish. I'm trying to keep that to a minimum. Stuff that I can scrap for the wire and, you know, other precious metals. So I'm sorting a little bit. The frames will go home because I do have plans of framing up a lot of stuff. So on the little table in the middle is quite a saleable piece. So probably half scary, this shed. Not too bad. I've got through most of it. But this here was scary number 2. So let's head in towards the shop. The rest of the yard I'm pretty happy with. This area is just a little bit of emergency storage I made out of pallets. It would only take half an hour to knock it apart for firewood. This was actually a prototype worm farm that I made at one stage, but yeah, it won't take long to clean up. That and all this area underneath the grass is really just a bit of scrap. There's aluminium, there's a trolley there that's pretty much empty, and there's some copper alley radiators under there and a few other pits. And it looks a lot worse than what it is because of the grass overgrowing it. The rest of the yard's pretty well organised here. Pellets I know I can get rid of very quickly. Little bit of stuff out of a shed there that I cleaned out years ago, and it's basically just scrap metal. There's not much value there. There were some tins of nuts and bolts and things, but not much to worry about. Now this side, I'm going to give this little glasshouse thing away. I'm not going to try until we've got access to the rear lane. Path's still a little bit narrow to get it through there, but I'm sure I'll be able to get rid of that quickly. These dry bodies are ready to go for pressing steel. They're all full of other metal. This item was a worm separating bay. At one stage I wanted to separate worms. I did a video on it. I'll put a link up the top. It worked quite well, but I'll probably just pull that apart. It's basically just scrap metal on a pallet. The compost bins and worm testing bins I'll be able to give away on Facebook anytime I want, pretty quickly. Little bit of steel in there, but not much to worry about. And this side's all pretty well cleaned up. Again, they're just washing machine cases and they're full of aluminium, so that'll be easy to clean up there. There's a bit of glass to get rid of, which will be a bit of a pain. This is scary number 3. This garden shed is full to the top, and I honestly don't remember what's in some of it. There's boxes of stock, there's things, there's bottles, there's stuff I just shoved in there quickly one day when it was going to rain and I had stuff on the ute before I had the van. Look, I'm not sure, and we'll probably do a separate video on this shed when the weather's a bit nicer, but that's definitely scary. The rest of this spot here, well, I have some wheelie bins just full of electric wire, PVC covered wire, which I'm taking some of them to Melbourne on Monday, so that's pretty organised. So the yard's pretty much under control. And we come around to the back here, a bit more e-waste to the transfer station. I took a photo of my vertical pallet garden, which I did a video on that once too, and that's on Facebook for free. I'm sure someone will snap that up. Likewise, this pot plant stand I made out of old bed bases. I've also thrown that on Facebook today for free, so someone will come and take that away, hopefully. There's not a lot in that shed, just a little bit of scrap metal ready to go, so that's quite organised. Now, down this side, this is probably scary number 4. Not quite so bad. I don't think I've shown you down this side. Some big ladders are going into Christine's shop. There's some roofing, there's some PVC conduit, all easy enough to get rid of. There's some stock under this tarp here, which I don't remember what's under here. A wheelbarrow, a few other bits and pieces. So, and there's quite a bit of clutter in there. There's some building materials that I wanted to keep out of the weather and some steel shelving. So it shouldn't be too bad, but we'll class that as scary number 4. Although I think it's probably only half scary. So if we add that to the half scary of the other shed, we're only up to 3 scaries. Who knew that scary was a unit of quantity? Okay, let's go inside. So the yard's not so bad. I'm happy with how the yard's going, and I'm kind of pleased that the weather gods are organising that I'm having an equal amount of nice weather to do the yard and an equal amount of crappy weather to do inside. All right, I guess this has to rate as scary just purely because of the volume of stuff, even though a lot of it is empty boxes. I think I would actually get this room sorted fairly quickly, but let's call this scary number 4. There's a lot of scrap stuff, IC chips, tablets. There's a little tub with some nickel plating stuff. So some of it will go home. There's various tubs of when I'm sorting scrap. There's die-cast, domestic aluminium, pewter. I'm not even sure what's down the back there. And all these boxes here are still from a deal, the great radio shed cleanup we did a while back, and there's a playlist on that as well. Lots of little knickknacks that will have to go home, but I'm trying not to, as I said, I'm trying not to just box up random stuff. I want to kind of sort it a bit. So that was, what was that, scary number 4? The kitchen is pretty good. I'm not worried about this. I'm not going to call this scary because there's a table in the corner just under those boxes. So there's not actually a lot of stuff here. And then there's all these empty crates. So there's not much stuff there. And in the old pantry, it's basically just, there's light globes at the bottom. It just looks messy because we've been in there looking for things. But that would tidy up pretty quickly. I'm not prepared to call that scary. The rest of the kitchen's pretty good. There's not many cupboards in here anyway, and there's not a lot of stuff in here. I do have to sell that stove still. I've got most of my jars off there. There's just a couple of jars left. I have to get the sign down and the clock. The bathroom is absolutely finished, spick and span, totally clean. So it's really nice to have a room totally done, because when you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, you go into the room that's finished and you kind of reset. You think, this one's done, tick. All right, let's go down the hall. The hall itself is probably a bit scary. It might be a half scary. I'm going to stop counting the scaries, but you get the idea. This room is a storeroom, and it definitely is scary. There is remains of a few different deals in here. That grandmother clock I'm taking home. Lots of bits of stock, and it's all a little disorganized. So, yes, I need to spend a bit of time in here and get some of this stuff out. So, yep, I've had enough in this room. I'm going to go back to the clean room. Now, I think I heard the front door open. Could Christine be coming in? Not sure. Oh, here she is. We're currently filming.
Hello.
Here's Christine, just come in from a hard day at the office.
I've worked very hard.
Yeah. I'm just going around showing everyone how scary things are. Now, no, Christine isn't scary.
Yes, I am.
Contrary to popular belief, she loves to bluff, but she's not that scary.
Terrifying.
Okay, this part of the hallway was scary, I think I said. There's lots of clutter and bits and pieces. And I'm going to probably have to sweep a lot of it into a box and sort some of that out later, because there's just too much little stuff. This shop's fine. I had Nikki in the shop today, a lady that helps me out, and she did a great job. She sold lots of stuff. We're trying to keep this front part of the shop absolutely chockers full. So it's not scary at all, it's all organised. But there is another spot under here. And right under this counter, you probably can't see it very well, all the way to the end, there is lots of stock shoved under here in boxes. And it's from years ago. Now there's stuff in this far corner that we won't be able to get to, behind that little cane shelf thing there. It's packed to the top all the way under there. So even I can't see that at the moment, but I can assure you that's going to be a scary clean out spot. But that's really it. The shed room's thinning out even more. We've got a lot of these shelves empty now, ready to move out. The kitchen room, as you've seen before, is totally empty except for stuff I'm keeping. So I think we'll probably finish this video up. I've talked for long enough. We've done it all in one take. And yeah, I'm not sure where to start next. Probably, depends on the weather. It's supposed to rain a lot tomorrow, so maybe I'll get into that's the tech room. Looking good, hey? Maybe we'll get into the back lounge area and just start to make a bit of room out there. And so ends another episode of the Great Cleanup. Next one will be coming along very soon because there's so much going on. What's that? What's behind me? All that timber that wasn't there before. I do have to admit, the neighbours are doing a renovation and all that framing timber was in their rubbish pile. Now, yeah, it's got nails in it, it's got glue on it, but Jesus, you can't throw that out. So, alright, stuff's supposed to be leaving my yard, not coming into it, but anyway, there you go. What can I say? It's a flaw, it's a genetic weakness. I blame my parents. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.